Hello students, this is our video about trigonometry, and if you need to write down, if you've lost your notes, I strongly encourage you to have a piece of paper and follow along with me. So trigonometry is the topic where we have that fun acronym SOHCAHTOA. And so just to review, we started off with the ratio tangent. So we have an angle theta, for example, and in relationship to theta, we have the opposite leg, the adjacent leg, and we always have the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is across from the 90-degree angle. The opposite leg is across from theta, the angle, and the adjacent leg is next to. So tangent, we abbreviate it with tan, of the angle theta is equal to the opposite leg divided by the adjacent leg. And so when we go back here, we can see that tangent T opposite O over A, so TOA. The next trig ratio that we talked about was sine. So again, let's put theta here. You still have your hypotenuse. Sorry, wrong color. Opposite leg is now this leg because it's across from the theta, and adjacent leg is the one touching theta. Sine of theta is equal to our opposite leg divided by our hypotenuse. So here we have so with an O and an H because it stands for opposite over hypotenuse. Last one, we'll have cosine. We'll put theta here. The hypotenuse is always across from the 90-degree angle. Sorry about that. The adjacent leg is the one next to theta, and the opposite leg is the leg that is across from theta. Cosine of our angle theta is equal to the adjacent leg divided by our hypotenuse. So that's why here we have ka with an A and an H for adjacent over hypotenuse. So these are our three trig functions. So just a reminder about how we would use them. For an example, you're going to want a scientific calculator here. Your phones don't work very well. So you can type into Google calculator. Make sure to see that it's in DEG degrees, and that should work just fine. So here, the first thing we're going to recognize is this is our angle. So we're going to label this side. So across from the right angle, that's our hypotenuse. The side that is across from our theta is the opposite leg. And then the last one is our adjacent leg. This means that we have information about the hypotenuse because it's 19, and we have information about the opposite leg because it's x. That's what we want to find. So we have O and H, which means we're going to use sine. Sine of 28 degrees is equal to our opposite leg, x, divided by our hypotenuse. We want to get x alone, so we're going to undo by multiplying by 19 on both sides. 19 times sine of 28 degrees equals x. And here is where you're going to plug into your calculator. Make sure you're in degrees and make sure you're closing parentheses and everything. And then hit enter, and we should get x is equal to 8.9199596, etc., etc., etc. We only need 3 decimal places, so 8.919, and we won't round, we'll just truncate, which means cut off the rest of them. So 8.919. So that's one example. If you feel like your memory has been jogged, go ahead and go back to Desmos and try a couple on your own. If you want a couple more review ones, stay with me. Here's another example. So we've got our theta. All the way across from it is our opposite leg. The side that is next to theta, this is our adjacent leg. And the side that is across from the 90-degree angle, this is our hypotenuse. So we're going to highlight the legs and the sides of the triangle where we have information. So that's here because our opposite leg is 8. Here our adjacent leg is x. Is what we want to find. So opposite and adjacent, we're going to use tangent, TOA. Tangent of 45 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. We want to undo to get x1, so we got to multiply by x because it's in the denominator. X times tangent of 45 degrees is equal to 8. Then we're going to divide by tangent of 45 degrees to undo that multiplying. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. And we have x is equal to 8 divided by tangent of 45 degrees. This is where you would plug it into your calculator. 8 divided by tangent of 45. Make sure you remember the parentheses, and you should get x is equal to 8. There is another way to do this, and that is, this is 45 degrees, so this has to be an isosceles right triangle, so these two must be congruent, so x is equal to 8. Either way, we get the same result, x is equal to 8. Again, if you're ready to go ahead and pause the video, go back to Desmos. One last one, just in case you would like to practice it. So here we've got the adjacent leg, it's touching. Here we've got the hypotenuse, it's across from the 90-degree angle. And here we've got the opposite leg. We want to find the hypotenuse. We know the adjacent leg and we have the angle. So we have adjacent and hypotenuse. That tells us this is cosine of 68 degrees is equal to adjacent 18 over hypotenuse. We're going to do a similar process to the last problem where we're going to multiply by x to undo, get it out of the denominator. Then we will divide by cosine of 68 degrees to undo multiplication. X is equal to 18 divided by cosine of 68 degrees. And this is where you plug into your calculator. Remember, parentheses aren't important. 18 divided by cosine of 68 degrees. And we should get x is equal to 18.002. And there are our numbers. After that, it goes 18.002357091, but we only need 3 decimal places. All right. I think we're good on those examples, so go ahead and give Desmos activity a try.